Last week I asked you all to send in some questions, and today I'll be running through them and answering them to the best of my abilities. Let's get started. So the first question, when will you go on a live tour? So the last time I played live, and the only time so far, was back in 2018 at Retro Future Fest in London in the UK. That gig went so well, I don't know how I'd top it, and that's partly why I haven't played live since. I don't want to curse it, it went well, that means 100% success rate so far. With regards to a live tour, that right now is not on the cards for me, as a lot of my time is just dedicated to looking after my kids, and sadly they have to be the priority. But maybe in the future. Next question is, can you please tour the US so I can scratch seeing you live off my bucket list? Shut up and take my money. Again, this feeds into the first question, and I would love to tour the US, but right now, I don't know if I'd be able to fit it in, but it's not a never, so fingers crossed in the future. Next question, what compressors do you use, which are your favourites and why? So I mostly use FL Studio, and to be honest I found that their compressors are perfect for the job. I use their multi-brand compressor and their normal compressor, and that's pretty much used on every track that I've ever made. I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but also FabFilter, they do a few, I think it's like a Q2 it's called, or a V2, one of those, nice compressor, but all compressors can do the same things nowadays, like they're all amazing, so yeah. So there's two questions here, is the Occult Series finished, or will there be more, and when will you make Odyssey of Noise Volume 4? So my Occult Series, which is now, it says 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. Yeah, so 6 in the series so far. I'm definitely planning more, maybe this year, but most likely next year. Look out for Occult 92. And the other part of the question, Odyssey of Noise Volume 4. I have been thinking about my Odyssey of Noise series. I would love to do a part 4, 5 and 6. And I would do it very similarly to how I did with parts 1, 2 and 3. The biggest part of for the Odyssey of Noise trilogy for me was the artwork, and that really helped to inspire the music that I made. So I need to definitely nail that first, and then yeah, it should be on the cards. Next question. What inspired you most to do a Tron album, and what is your go-to instrument that sounds most like Tron to you? So Tron has always been, with the first Tron film, has always been one of my favourite films, and then Tron Legacy, again, fantastic film, fantastic soundtrack, but very different from the first film, which is I think is a good thing, and I find both films and both soundtracks extremely inspiring for different reasons, and obviously that inspiration led me to making my own Tron album, which then led to 2 more. Part of the biggest draw with Tron is that its setting is so unique, and because it's based in a computer sort of world, it means that instantly you can go to this sort of electronic style of music, and it all makes sense. I mean, my son is called Flynn. I mean, that should show you how much I love the Tron series. Part of the question that says, what is the go-to instrument that sounds most like Tron to you? I use a lot of Diva, which I think is a Yuhi VST. There's a lot of presets that I found were very close, and I just tinkered with them. There's one that's a very brassy electronic preset. I can't remember the name of it because I've kind of edited it myself now. Yeah, there's a lot of, and I don't want to sound lazy, but there's a lot of the same VST I use in a lot of my Tron related music, and that's mostly just because I want to make it feel like it's coherent and there's, you know, some sort of linking between the tracks, and that has helped a lot. So yeah, Yuhi Diva, even some DX7 sounds, although it's not the right synth for the time of the first film really, because I think Wendy Carlos was using a lot of, I think it was CS80 and Moog synthesizers to create some of the sounds. I can't remember if I'm misquoting there, but next question is from my wife. Can I have a decaf coffee? No. Next question. Is your name based off of Occam's Razor? Yes, 100%. I studied humanities at university, and that delved into a lot of philosophy, and the idea of Occam's Razor came up, and I thought it was a cool name. And then when I finished uni, a few years after that, I came up with the name of Occam's Razor. Next question. Who are your biggest influences on your work? So, for me, biggest influences has to be the music that you actually listen to in your normal everyday life. And for me, there's a few bands that I come back to quite often. The top being 9 Inch Nails. I've listened to them since I was maybe like early teenager. And yeah, they've been a heavy influence on a lot of my music. Also Nirvana, Justice heavily, definitely. Daft Punk in some ways, but definitely Justice. Who else? I mean, one band I come back to quite often is Billy Talent, but they don't influence my music in a direct sense, but I like their music. More recently though, I've been trying to sort of engage with modern music a bit more, and I'm sure it's a bit of a meme by this point, but I've been listening to a lot of Sleep Token. I love their vocals, and it's almost getting me back to singing on my tracks again. Next question. What does your creative process look like, and what gear do you use? So I have quite a simplistic setup. I mostly use VSTs and stay pretty much just in my computer. So I have a MIDI keyboard next to me, and although I do have one hardware synth, I don't really use it. I've got loads of guitar pedals, don't really use them either. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guitars in the room, don't really use them either. There's a bass as well. Everything just slows down the process too much when you can just sit at a computer, all your VSTs are there, you've got so many options, and it just streamlines the process. And for me, getting an idea out quick is usually the best route to finishing a track. So yeah, I'm almost 100% VST based, and that's worked for me so far, and I've created 350, or released 350 tracks, created about 1,000 probably. Yeah, that is the key. It's just getting out ideas quickly and hoping for the best a lot of the time. Actually, I'm going to show you some of my gear. Here we have the Korg Mini Logue, which I do not really use very often. And then we've got a reverb pedal, a boost pedal, a big muff, a silencer pedal, a rat hiding at the back, a pitchfork, and a tuner with some power. Pretty standard, and that all feeds into my Squire Telecaster. Trusty MIDI keyboard. I've had this way too long, and yeah, it's not going anywhere. It does the trick. It's fine. Good old Shure microphone. Too many guitars. More guitars. Next question is a weird one. Okay, how does it feel knowing I destroyed your multiverse? So there was a bot who answered my AMA call out, and it ended up being a 19 question thread that I was just sort of feeding it really. It's interesting to see how clever these bots are getting now. So yeah. Next question. What DAW do you use for your music production? I've already kind of said this, but I use FL Studio, and I've been using FL Studio pretty much since 2008, I think it is. And although I didn't start releasing music under Occam's Razor until 2014, I've kind of been dabbling with music for years before that. By this point, almost all DAWs can kind of do the same things. It's more just what comes standard with those DAWs. For me, FL Studio does come with a few synths and VSTs that I don't know if I'd be able to live without now. Next question. So what's the deal with artists and their red and black colour schemes? To me, red is such a strong colour and it helps evoke emotions that, fingers crossed, my music is also kind of trying to make you feel. It's an aggressive colour and a lot of my music is very aggressive, so I think red is perfectly suited really. And although maybe 5 of my releases don't really have much red in them, red is definitely going to be a prevalent thing for years to come. Next question. When did you start to make music? I've kind of already answered this, but yeah, I started making music as a hobby back in 2008, and then I quit my job and decided to start Occams Razor in 2014. Next question. What was your first encounter with Darksynth, and what's your favourite synthesizer and why? So Darksynth. The thing is, like the OGs, Perturbator and Carpenter Brute, which everyone would call Synthwave, have always been Darksynth in my eyes. So I would say those two, and then Ghost as well. And I'm spelling that G-O-S-T. I know that, or maybe he pronounces it Ghost, I don't know. I would say those 3 are the main 3 that got me into the genre, and they made me want to be a better musician. Second part of that question, what's your favourite synthesizer and why? My favourite VST that I use at the moment is probably Serum. It's quite a modern sounding VST. I really like it. It's very powerful, it's very versatile. There's loads of presets you can find on the internet which can sometimes just speed up getting your ideas out. Never be afraid to use presets, even if some people might gatekeep and say, oh, you can't do that. Just use whatever feels right for you. Next question. Did you play Aliens Fireteam Elite on Xbox? No. I am Team PlayStation. Don't know if you can see that in the background. I used to have a Xbox a long time ago, but yeah, I did not play Aliens Fireteam Elite. I might in the future. Next question. What dark forces are you in cahoots with to make your music so damn good? I would say I am in cahoots with the god of luck. A lot of my music, I stumble upon a good idea sometimes if I'm lucky. There's many bad ideas that no one will ever hear. So I'm glad you like my music, but yeah, there's sadly no satanic shrines in my room. Saying that, there is a cross with Occams Razor on it, but that's from a music video. Yeah, no devil worship here, sorry. Next question. When/how is there a live performance happening? I've kind of gone over this. 2018 was my first and only live performance so far. I have done a few DJ sets under my Vaporwave alias, but yeah, maybe I'll go down that route to start with, just to get back in the swing of things. But live performances should be on the cards again, maybe in the next year or so. Next question. What do you use to make your music? I use a computer. I think I've probably covered the rest earlier. Next question. Where do you find your inspiration from? How did you come up with the name Occams Razor? Where do I find my inspiration? I find inspiration in tons of things, but there's a lot that comes from religious iconography. That's kind of influenced my work the most. You've kind of got crosses and, I don't know, blood and just the wording of like religious texts and things. I'm not religious myself, but I do find strong symbols really kind of evoke a lot of inspiration. I like the ideas that a lot of metal bands have pretty much been dabbling with. Yeah, so I'm pretty standard with those sort of inspirations, but then I also get a lot of inspiration from film, as I've said about Tron, and I even did a Mad Max album a long time ago. I don't know if I'll do a second one. What else? Sometimes if I just read like one interesting line of an article, that might, create some sort of mad side idea. But yeah, inspiration can come from anywhere. And the second part of your question, where did I come up with the name Occams Razor? I kind of covered that already. It's like a spoonerism, or no, I don't think spoonerism is actually correct, but it's like a missaying of the phrase Occams Razor, Occams Razor. Just different spelling, I guess. Next question. Will you post the lyrics to some of your tracks from the Occult series? I really want to know the lyrics to Digital Alchemy and Visions of Fire. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. A lot of my older work kind of gets like, not forgotten, but pushed to the side. Yeah, I did used to sing on a lot of my songs, and that might be happening again soon. So I should probably go back and add some lyrics to those older tracks. My apologies for not doing so sooner. Next question. Can you adopt me? I probably could legally, but my house is full. I've already got 2 little bastards running around. It's probably enough. Next question. When do you think you will do a concert? Also, what inspired you to make the music you make? So I've covered both these questions really, but yeah, when do you think you will do a concert? I would love to do some smaller concerts in the next few years, just intimate sort of venues, 100 people max sort of thing. Just get better at my craft a bit, because yeah, the old keytar has been in the cupboard for a couple of years now, and I need to get back in the swing of things first before I would be confident giving you like the best performance of my life. So that was all the questions. I think this probably might be a series of things, so if you have any more questions for me that I haven't answered today, leave a comment anywhere on my socials. I'm sure I can get there to answer it for you, and thank you for watching. Take it easy. She's alive. Fucking dogs, man, shut up. Let's try that again. No, that doesn't make sense either. I'm talking shit. Let's try that again. I'm gonna answer that one again.